Now here, we're going to start reviewing for the test tomorrow. On the first question, I'm dealing with the three angles of a triangle. The instructions are solve for x, so I'm going to add the three angles of the triangle. So let me go 8x plus 3 plus 75 plus 70. Because they are the angles of a triangle, they equal to 180. Let me separate them to the equal sign. The 8x, I'm just going to write it 8x. Now the other numbers, 3 plus 75 plus 70, I'm going to add those, and that is 148, and this is equal to 180. I just simplified the left side. I'm going to subtract the 148 from each side, so I get that 8x equals 180 minus 148 gives me 32. Divide both sides by 8. X in this case is 4. Now looking at question number 2, I have the three angles of a triangle, so I'm going to add them all. 4x plus 2 plus 5x plus 133. Add everything, and it is equal to 180. I'm going to separate them through the equal sign. I'm going to combine my x's. 4x plus 5x is 9x. 2 plus 133 is 135. And this is equal to 180. Let me subtract 135 on each. So I get the 9x equals 180 minus 135 is 45. Divide both sides by 9, and we get that x is equal to 5. I see that instructions is asking me to find the measure of angle A. Now, I see that angle A is 5 times x. I know x equals 5, so 5 times 5 will give me 25. That's my answer. Now, looking at question number 3, I'm going to start with the triangle that has two angles. So let me start looking at this triangle. The two angles given are 60 and 40. If I add those two numbers, that's 100. Right? I added my numbers. Now I'm going to subtract it from 180. 180 minus 100 is 80. So my third angle is 80. In this picture, I see that there's an X form. Because of vertical angle theorem, when there's an X, opposite angles are equal. So I'm going to say this other angle here, it is 80 as well. Now, on the other triangle, not the blue one that I started with, but the other one, I have two angles, 80 and 41. I'm going to add those two numbers, 80 plus 41. That gives me 121. Let me subtract it from 180. 180 minus 121 happens to be 59. So the angle that I'm looking for is 59 degrees. Now, looking at question number 4, I have two angles on the inside. You see them there? And one angle on the outside. I'm going to add the two angles on the inside. 4x plus 17 plus 85. It is equal to 16x minus 6. The left side, I have the 4x by itself, right? I mean, I cannot combine it to any other term. But 17 plus 85, I can do that. That is 102. On the right side, I have 16x minus 6. Let me subtract 4x on each side. This negative 6, let me add 6 to each side. So I have that 108 is equal to 12x. Divide both sides by 12. And in this case is 108 divided by 12 is 9. So x equals 9. Remember, the two angles on the inside are equal to the opposite exterior angle. We talked about this on Monday, the exterior angle theorem. Now, looking at question number 5, have the same thing. I'm going to add the two angles on the inside. So in this case, let me go, the two angles on the inside are these two. I'm going to go 3x plus 13 plus 5x minus 5. It is equal to the angle on the outside. Now the left side, 3x plus 5x, I'm going to call that 8x. 13 minus 5, I'm going to call that 8. And this is equal to 80. Let me subtract 8 on both sides. So 8x equals 72. Let me divide both sides by 8. X in this case is 9. The instructions here are find the measurement of angle D. I see the corner where D is, this corner. I have 3 times x plus 13. So I'm looking at 3 times 9 plus 13. 27 plus 13 is equal to 40. So that angle is 40. Now let's take a look at number 6. State if the three numbers can be the measures of the sides of a triangle. I'm going to look at the two small numbers, 6 and 2, and I'm going to add those two numbers. In order for this to be a triangle, it has to be bigger, right? If I add the two small numbers, it has to be bigger than the third number. Then I ask myself, is 6 plus 2 more than 8? In this case, no. They're equal to each other. But remember that the sum of the two small numbers has to be bigger than the third side. Now, on question number 7, I give you two sides of a triangle that have the following measures. Find the range of possible measures for the third side. The third side, I'm going to call it x, and I'm going to use two inequality signs. Notice both of them are less than, because I'm saying that x is in between two numbers. In my case, I'm going to say x is in between 1 and 21. The way I came out with the 1 and 21, from the two numbers, I subtracted those two numbers to come out with 1. I added the numbers to come out with 21. The value of the length of a side cannot be negative, so make sure on the left you go 11 minus 10, not 10 minus 11, because you cannot have a negative answer. Now looking at question number 8, all the angles are equal, so that means all the sides are equal. So I'm just going to say x is equal to 6. Those two sides are equal. Looking at question number 9, I see that two angles are equal, so that means that two sides will be equal as well, which are these two. I'm dealing with an isosceles triangle, so I'm just going to say x is equal to 8. Same thing with number 10. I see two angles are equal, so the opposite sides from each angle are going to be equal. So I'm just going to have that x plus 20 is equal to 12. Now here to have to work a little, I'm going to subtract 20 on each side. So I'm going to get that x is equal to negative 8. Now looking at my number 11, I have the two sides are equal. I'm going to highlight them in red. So the opposite angles from each side are equal. So that means these two angles. Remember when I say opposite angle means the angle far away from that side. So the opposite angle from each side. So I mark them in blue. I see that one angle is x, so I'm going to say the other angle is also x. Here I have all three angles of a triangle, so I'm going to add them all. X plus 70, and it is equal to 180. Separate them to the equal sign. Let me combine my x's. 1x plus 1x, that's 2x. So 2x plus 70 is equal to 180. Let me subtract 70 from each side. 2x is equal to 110. Divide both sides by 2, so x will be 55. Now looking at question number 12, it says measurement of angle 2 is 3x plus 9. So instead of angle 2, I'm going to change that to 3x plus 9. I see that two sides are equal, this side and this side. So that means that two angles are equal, which are this angle and this angle. So this other angle, I'm going to call it 3x plus 9 as well. I see that I have all three angles of a triangle here, so I'm just going to go 3x plus 9 plus 3x plus 9 plus 96. It is equal to 180. On the left side, 3x plus 3x, that gives me 6x. 9 plus 9